Let's pray. Oh, gracious God, we truly give you thanks for this time together. We thank you for our time away, a time to be with friends and family. And we even thank you for the snow that we received yesterday, a reminder of your grace. So we pray, oh Lord, that what we do here today would be pleasing in your sight. Now bless this food and nourishment of our body and body in your service. In your son's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, first, second, third, and fourth. And not everybody has muted themselves on Zoom.
Thank you. I was going to remind her. Okay, great. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you in the new year and the dusting of snow that we were supposed to get. Let's see. We do have a couple of guests. Amy, do you want to introduce your guests?
Sure. I have with me Elizabeth Nelson. Some of you may know Elizabeth or her parents, Drs. Laura and Junior Nelson here in town. Elizabeth is a senior at Marple Hall in Nashville, and they have a January term where they get to select an internship in an area that they're interested in. So Elizabeth is my intern for the month of January.
And it looks like we have a guest, Mike Otto. Mike, you want to stand up and tell us about yourself? He's a potential Rotarian.
Yeah, Mike Otto. I think that you guys had party today, drop off my application and all of that. So
Oh, it's nice to have you here. And where do you work, Mike? Remind me. Okay. It is time to sign up again for prayer pledge and four-way test. And because Frank has worked things out, if you're on Zoom, you can now sign up for prayer, pledge, and four-way test. If you would put your name and you want an email, Chantho, name and email by the dates on the back on this list, and I'll start it around. Do we have any other guests or anything else?
Well, thank you, Miss Nancy. We appreciate that. It's now time to remind you why the gift bags are on this your table in the center. Ask you to follow through on your New Year's resolution to be generous and give generously to our Rotary Polio Plus initiative. So please be reminded of that. Now, we have, is there anyone here to speak on behalf of the Blue Raiders? And we have not had a report since the Bahama Bowl. So anyone? None? Please support men and women's basketball. Track season begins January 11th at on the campus. So go Blue. Now we have, yes.
Lori had asked me to tell you all that Cheryl Chestnut is recovering from gallbladder surgery. So
Yes.
remember Cheryl.
Okay. So thank you for that. And we have one half of our dynamic duo here. Thank goodness. George, you're here. Will you come forward, please?
You know, half is just no fun. Where would roles have been without Royce? You know, it just really, and particularly, I applied to 3 colleges when I was in high school. It was Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, and Purdue. And I really wanted to say something to John about Purdue, but it's just going to have to wait.
Thank you, George. And Phil King is going to give us an update with Foundation Football up on his return. Now, in terms of service announcement, we have a celebrity in our midst, Mr. John Mitchell. You were featured in the VIP magazine. And I have a copy in case your family needs just one more to share, but we're going to ask you to come forward and give us an update on the Red Kettle Challenge.
Thank you, Dr. Bonner, and thank you, fellow Rotarian Lee, for writing that article. But here's the update on the Red Kettle Challenge. Breakfast Rotary did definitely take the win with raising $5,433. We did come in second with our last stage effort by Randy with $1,636. And we beat Smyrna Rotary, who this was the first time they've done it, and they were happy to do it. And so they want to do it again next year, who put in 1,282. Total, the most important thing is collectively Rotarians stepped up to the plate and helped us raise over $8,000 to support our growing program. So we thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to participate, John. We have an announcement from Brett Garner, who is asking us to mark our calendars for Saturday, February 19th. That is in recognition of Habitat for Humanity panel build at the indoor facility. It is climate control. Lane Agri Park. So all three Rotary clubs, as you know, will be participating, and you can sign up for one shift, which is an hour, or as many shifts as you would like for that date. I'd love to see our Murfreesboro Rotary Club participate in big numbers. So let's please do our best to support the Habitat for Humanity panel build on February 19th. And Brett will forward a sign-up sheet later this week. So please check your emails for that. Yes, Mr. John.
Madam President, I have 10 to 11, but I think it's longer than the hours are for that day.
Okay.
Is it like all day?
From 8 in the morning to whenever we finish.
Okay. And perhaps he will indicate the time slots there on the sign-up sheets for us. All right. Okay. Let's see what we have next. We are now ready for a very timely topic. And our guest speaker today is our very own Gordon Ferguson. And as you know, Gordon is the member, the stakeholder within our community who is known for having a heart for healing. He's the president and CEO of Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford Hospital. And he has served more than 25 years of healthcare experience and was named one of Business Tennessee Magazine's top 25 hospital operators and executives throughout the state of Tennessee. He was also known as, has been named our healthcare hero by the D&J Person of the Year. And as you know, Gordon has been instrumental in helping to navigate our journey for the going into our third year with the coronavirus. And we know and appreciate Gordon for so many things that he has contributed to the community, but we also express appreciation to him for being a member of our Murfreesboro Noon Rotary Club. So Gordon, we've been working to have you speak to us for about Gary and Amelia for about what, 2 months? And it's so timely that today is the day that we selected to have him speak with us. So no experience is ever wasted. And please help me to welcome Gordon Ferguson, President and CEO of Ascension St. Thomas Hospital, Rutherford.
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. Can you all hear me okay? You're good? I do regret that I'm not there in person today. I would be, but I've got a 1 o'clock meeting that I need to be present for. So I'm going to just take you through a few slides. There is one embedded video here that I hope the technology will work for me today. But for those of you that may not be quite as familiar with the hospital as others, I wanted just to give you a quick history. And Gloria, thank you very much for your introduction. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that we are honored to have Gloria serve as one of our board members here at the hospital. But many of you may recognize this building that was located on University Avenue, right at Bell Street in Lytle. Our hospital was founded back in 1927 through a grant from the Commonwealth Fund of New York. And we've always functioned as a not-for-profit hospital, but our ownership has certainly changed over the years. And here you can see that we were sold in 1986, almost to HCA. But at the last minute, the leaders of St. Thomas and Baptist hospitals got together and created the first Catholic Protestant joint venture in the country. So we've got a little bit of recognition there in our history. We functioned at this location for many years, and it was around 1998 that we first started thinking about needing to relocate to a different part of the city to where we'd be more accessible to the growing population. Around that same time, we were not bought per se, but on the Catholic side, the Daughters of Charity merged with other sponsors, and that created Ascension. So when you hear about Ascension, although we've been around for a long time through the Daughters and other orders, it really wasn't until 2000 that Ascension came together. And then in 2002, what was then St. Thomas West acquired Baptist Hospital and also acquired their share in Middle Tennessee Medical Center. So we've been through several different ownerships over the years, but we've always been committed to providing good quality care. And then in 2010, we opened the new facility here on Medical Center Parkway. In terms of our service area, the vast majority of our patients do come from Rutherford County, but we also see a good number of patients coming from these counties that are colored here in green. We also, with our acquisition of the hospital over in DeKalb County in Smithville, get quite a few patients from there, and then maybe to a lesser degree from over in Sparta and White County. But again, most of our patients do come up from that I-24 corridor and from the city proper. We are on a fiscal year basis that begins in July and ends in June, but our annualized numbers so far are reflected here. Our births are approaching 4,000. And our surgeries, both inpatient and outpatient, are approaching 10,000. Our ER visits, interestingly enough, they've actually declined over the last few years. I think as we've seen more of our urgent care facilities open up. So right now we're projecting to be about 76,000 for fiscal year that will end in June. And then our discharges, hospitals measure their inpatient volume both by admissions and discharges, but we are projecting to be about 21,000 discharges. And then we continue to see growth in our medical staff with new physicians that are either recruited by entities such as Murfreesboro Medical Clinic or Ascension Medical Group. But this year so far, we have added 46 physicians to our medical staff, and I'll introduce you to a few of them here in a few minutes. Recently, I think you may have heard that we're going to be launching another expansion to our campus here, Medical Center Parkway. Currently, we are licensed for 358 beds. And once this expansion is complete, we will have a total of 416 beds here on Medical Center Parkway. Let me put you back on the screen here. Can you all see my cursor there? On the 8th floor of our west wing, at our last expansion, we added 3 floors to the west wing, but we only finished 2 of the floors. So part of this expansion will include finishing out 36 beds on 8 West. And that will actually be the first part of our expansion. So you may not see a lot of activity initially, but we'll be, again, finishing off the beds on this floor. And then the second part of the expansion includes the addition of 16 beds on our critical care unit located on the 2nd floor. So this is actually at the side of the hospital that faces Gateway Boulevard. And we will be, again, adding on to our existing critical care unit that will take us just over to 40 beds here. Part of this expansion is to support our level 2 trauma efforts that are well underway as we brought some additional specialists onto our campus that I'll tell you more about in just a minute. And then the third component of this plan is probably the one that I think most people are very excited about, and that is where we're going to be building a parking garage, again, kind of back toward Gateway Boulevard, not too far from Thompson Lane, that will be about 1,100 spaces. And it will be located just north of the Seton Medical Office building. And in fact, our first meeting with the architects is what I'm going to at 1 o'clock. And we've engaged Earl Swenson Associates to help us with the design of the parking lot. And then finally, the last part of this development will be the addition of six bassinets to our existing neonatal intensive care unit, where we're also going to try and move from a level 2 NICU to a level 3, meaning that we'll be able to take care of sicker babies than we are today. And this is located on the 3rd floor of the hospital. I mentioned earlier that we've got several new physicians on the medical staff. These are our 2 new vascular surgeons that have joined Ascension Medical Group, which really is an expansion of the practice that Dr. Mark Akins and Way Westmoreland are a part of. So Dr. K here, he went to medical school at Vanderbilt and did his internship and residency at University of Texas Southwestern, and then completed his fellowship in vascular surgeon at Oregon Health Sciences University in Portland, Oregon. Dr. Rich received her medical degree from University of California in La Jolla, and then went to University of California in San Francisco for her general surgery residency, and completed her vascular surgery fellowship in New York. We're also very fortunate to have two neurosurgeons join our medical staff. They've joined Doctors Lynn and Moran, and they are now part of Ascension Medical Group and the Howell Allen Clinic, which has got a very positive reputation up in Nashville. Dr. Shirzadi attended Texas Tech. In fact, I think Dr. Shirzadi may have been one of our guests last year, but he completed his fellowship at Sinai in LA. And then more recently, Dr. Eli has joined our medical staff. Ilyas is actually a native of Nashville, also received his undergraduate and medical degree from Vanderbilt, and completed his fellowship at University of Utah, and then did some additional training up in Massachusetts. So both of these individuals are here and are in practice. I mentioned earlier about our trauma program, and we've got a photograph here that shows our three trauma surgeons. Dr. Barquist came here from Florida. Dr. Park was up at the Shock Trauma Center up in Baltimore, Maryland. And Dr. Tiffany B was down at University or at Memphis Hospital, a Methodist down in Memphis. So these trauma surgeons, they have all got their training as general surgeons, but then went on to get additional training as in surgical critical care. And currently we now have one of these three surgeons in-house 24/7, supporting our ER and our surgery. And we are in the process of recruiting for a fourth general surgeon. And then I wanted just to give you a very quick introduction to our latest interns that came on campus back in the summer. We've got training programs both in family medicine and emergency medicine. And this was our latest group of interns coming in to be trained for 3 years doing their family medicine residencies. And as you can see, they come from different schools. We've got several here from LMU over in East Tennessee, and also from LSU and Tulane. And we're very pleased to have this latest group. They're based over at the St. Louis Clinic on Highland Avenue, but are over here quite frequently rounding on their patients. And then we've also got 8 emergency medicine physicians. Again, you can see the broad range of locations that they are coming from as they've matched here to come to Murfreesboro for 3 years for their training. We now have 3 of these classes here on site, and it's great to have these individuals here. Some may stay on and some will move on to other emergency rooms. And then toward the end of last year, we were able to open up our ambulatory surgery center on New Salem Highway next to our existing care center there. This surgery center is now open. We do quite a few GI procedures here, as well as urology. And then we've got physician offices located on the 2nd floor. And then You may have seen some ads for our new West Lawn Neighborhood Hospital. This will be the first of its kind in the state of Tennessee. And we have recently started construction on this building on Veterans Parkway, just south of 840. And it will be located next to the TOI building, which is already under construction. Now this is where I'm going to try and share a short video that will give you an overview of the neighborhood hospital.
With the opening of Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford West Lawn Hospital, patients will have improved access to care in a convenient neighborhood setting, right where residents live, work, and play. Here, patients visiting the emergency department will be seen by a board-certified physician on average in minutes, not hours. And we are committed to making every patient experience second to none. The lobby area features easy-to-access check-in and discharge stations, as well as spacious and comfortable seating for patients and their families. State-of-the-art nursing stations are designed to maximize sightlines and accessibility, and workstations are on wheels, allowing staff to easily monitor all exam rooms and minimize response time. CT and X-ray procedure rooms provide comfort for patients of any age. The adjacent observation room keeps families together during procedures, and our 8 spacious exam rooms are designed to feel like home. The on-site laboratory expedites testing processes, so patients don't have to wait to receive their results. Blood and urine tests are available in as little as 20 minutes. When patients require extended observation or overnight admission, they experience our private inpatient wing featuring 8 dedicated rooms. Each room incorporates technology and ample space for visitors, providing patients a personalized experience. A comfortable waiting area includes TV, Wi-Fi access, and a coffee bar for visiting family and friends. These special touches create a calm and welcoming atmosphere when patients and families need it the most. Ascension St. Thomas West Lawn Hospital will also offer a second floor for convenient outpatient services. Here you can access doctor's visits and other routine healthcare services. With the opening of our new West Lawn Hospital campus, Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford is proud to deliver convenient, accessible, and high-quality care with a commitment to shorter wait times. We proudly welcome you to your new neighborhood hospital.
Again, that facility, we've just started construction with plans for it to be complete just about 1 year from now, to be the end of the current 2022. And then we were fortunate enough last year to receive a certificate of need approval to begin an open heart program here at Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford. And we're in the process of recruiting 2 cardiovascular surgeons that will be a part of St. Thomas Heart. And the timeline for this program would be the beginning of 2023, just about 1 year from now. So we'll be very pleased to begin this new service. And then finally, we just don't work within the confines of our facilities. We're very pleased that we've got this mobile unit that provides mammography to folks that may not have the insurance to cover the screening procedures. And we're very grateful to the Christy Houston Foundation, who provided a grant of $500,000 that enabled us to buy 1 new coach and then refurbish an existing coach. And we are providing this service to about 26 different counties in Middle Tennessee. I wanted to make sure that I allowed some time for questions, but also wanted just to give you a quick update. Gloria mentioned about the fact that we continue to be in the throes of the COVID virus. I'll tell you, today we've got just over 70 patients in the hospital that have either have a active COVID diagnosis or they have had the virus but still need to be in the acute care setting. And the good news, though, is that the vast majority of these patients are up on the 5th floor in our designated COVID unit. We do have a few that are down in critical care, but we are also seeing a good number that we believed would be of the Omicron strain where they may present to our ER and be discharged home, or some may be admitted. But I think our staff, although I know we've still got some fatigue that you can imagine with what we've been through over the last couple of years, but I think we are getting more used to dealing with our COVID population, and are still strongly advocating the vaccination as well as the booster. I think you've probably all read that I think COVID is something we're just going to be living with as we go forward, but hopefully not to the extent that we've seen over the last couple of years. Again, it's been a privilege to be able to kind of give you all an update of what's going on here at the hospital. We know that staffing continues to be an issue for us as well as other hospitals in the area. We're constantly looking at creative ways to recruit nurses here and make sure they stay here. But we are blessed to receive a good number of very positive feedback letters, emails about the care that is provided here. Certainly got our share of individuals that are not shy to offer their thoughts on how we can make improvements here, but we are just dedicated to our mission and taking care of this community. So that concludes my presentation, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that anybody may have.
If you have a question, could you come forward to the mic so that they can hear? John?
Gordon, I have been reading several articles about the issue of physicians moving from independent practice into group practices and into hospital-owned practices. And it seems like, and it may be COVID related, morale is not as great as it used to be. And I wonder if you have any comments on that, and what impact you see going forward if the trend continues in that way.
Yeah, thanks, John. That's a great question. And I do think, healthcare is difficult. I think what we've been through with COVID is something that the vast majority of us have just not been through something like this in our lifetimes. But in answer to your question, we are seeing more and more physicians that, the small group practice, for example, Dr. Wollahan, that I think is becoming much more the minority than the majority. I think you'll see more physicians that will gravitate towards larger practices, either owned by a healthcare system or independent, such as we have with the Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. Part of that is just because the complexities of the non-clinical aspects of running a practice, whether it be insurance or just a lot of the regulations that we now have to abide by. And then you've also continued to see more hospitals, either by choice or by necessity, are using the hospitalist model, where you've got either family medicine or internists that are just strictly based at the hospital. Right now at Rutherford, we've got well over 30 hospitalists that are providing care here within the hospital. And so you've got many of your primary care physicians that are really just focused on their outpatient practice and not the inpatient practice. So that has caused us to kind of lose touch with a lot of our primary care physicians, which I personally think is sad, but it's just the model that we have evolved to over the years. But I still think there are a lot of physicians that do enjoy what they're doing. The technology that we're seeing come out continues to really be amazing in terms of what we're doing with telehealth and even how you can now use your smartphone to perform certain ultrasound tests is something that we're seeing more and more of. Hope that answers your question, John, but I think very good observations on your part.
Gordon, do you have time for one more question?
I do, yes.
Okay, is there anyone else? Well, you've answered them all. And we thank you for making quality healthcare services the priority in our Murfreesboro, Rutherford County community. I will get a copy of the Rotary Speaker Certificate to your office through Robbie, and we'll also make a donation in your honor. Gordon, we appreciate you so much for your leadership throughout the Middle Tennessee area.
Thank you, Gloria. It's really, again, a privilege to share information on behalf of our physicians and our staff members here. We do appreciate the support from the community. So thank you very much.
Okay, let's give our speaker a hand.
Wish I could be there. I'll try and get there as soon as I can.
Okay, and what a great way to kick off the new year for 2022. So I hope that this has been informative to you. I want to express appreciation to Gary Dennis and Amelia Boozman for making all of this possible, working behind the scene and keeping everyone encouraged. Frank, you have worked a couple of miracles today, and we appreciate you for doing that. We will purchase a speaker this week. Is that correct? So let's please express to Frank how very much we appreciate all that he does. Okay, now this concludes the first meeting. And as you know, our theme for the year 2021-22 is to celebrate life. So please, on every given day, make our lives matter to others as we continue to serve throughout the community. Let's see.
People to please sign up for the prayer pledge and four-way test. I don't know whether it is not to.
We've got it.
Let's get it to the rest of the table.
Okay, and if there is no other business, we would want to remind you to go in love, go in peace, and go in unity. This concludes our meeting.
Rotary Conservation.